Hi, and welcome to another episode of The People's Rose. I'm Jared,
I'm Brooke.
and this is our post-reality fame episode. We like reality TV so much. Not only did we podcast about it for a year and a half and watch so much of it, we decided, hey, let's go crazy. Let's join the experience, and we have participated in reality TV. Brooke, what were we just on?
House Hunters.
Our episode of House Hunters aired last Friday, last week, and it was hilarious. We are obviously going to talk about that. We talk about all the reality TV shows we watch. We've got Bachelor. We're going to be talking about when it airs at the end of this month. We got Traitors. We just watch. If there's a reality TV show, competitive or dating, chances are we're checking it out and talking about it on the podcast. Are we going to get into some Brooks buzz about Bachelor stuff today?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we're going to even touch on some of the Bachelor stuff here. And this episode specifically, Traitors also premiered last week and had an episode this week that we've seen. We're going to recap and discuss that. But we cannot go another second longer without giving the people what they want.
Yes.
Our insight on House Hunters. Our episode. We're gonna react to our episode. I think is how we're gonna do this. Because we watch reality TV. What a better opportunity than to react to our own episode of reality TV?
Sure, let's do it.
So before we get into it, Brooke, just give broad strokes. What are your thoughts on us now having been on House? Not just being on House Hunters, but having seen us on TV.
I will say it was overall a great experience. I think not everyone maybe has a great experience when they go on reality TV, but I feel like we did. I'll just say, watched in real time with everybody. So we did not know what to expect, right? And so we were kind of nervous.
Yeah,
rightfully so.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
And this might sound silly, but I was so taken aback by how quick it went. I think in my head I was just thinking like, oh my gosh, it's going to go on. Watching it, I'm going to be cringing and it's just going to be like, make it stop.
Right.
But it really went so fast. And then I'm like, wait, like we said and did so much more.
Yeah.
Right? So like you don't know what they're going to use and how they're going to piece it together. So it was really cool to see how they did put it all together. Yeah,
not to get into the too much of the specifics, but we filmed obviously much longer than what they could fit into a 22-minute episode. So just seeing what made the quote unquote cut was a little cool. Okay, speaking of us watching it live, if you watch us on YouTube and maybe even some of our social media clips, I'm going to be interspersing some of our original live watch reactions to the show on there that we watched with family and our realtor. And so if we're talking about a moment and you want to see our initial reaction to it, go to our YouTube, click on the reaction video, and you'll see clips of us reacting to moments from the episode that were entertaining.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's I guess we should how did we get on the show? You want to explain that?
Well, we just applied.
Yeah, it was
Jared had this silly goofy idea to go on to hgtv.com and apply.
We were hanging out with my parents who we like House Hunters, but we watch a lot of Love It or Listed, but my parents watch a lot of House Hunters.
Yes.
And
now, I will say we already were like looking for a house.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like, oh, let's pretend to buy a house to be on TV. Like we were legitimately
look if you're watching online, we really are in the house.
Yeah, we are.
House number 2 that we chose.
No, 1.
Oh, you're right. It was house number 1. I'm sorry.
So, so like it was, we were like, wait, we're looking for a house. Like maybe we could do it on TV, right?
Right.
So we went on, we applied. And then basically you write like a profile, you send in pictures, and then pretty quickly a casting director reached out and was like, hey,
producer,
producer, yes. and was like, hey, we want to interview you. So we set up a Zoom interview. We killed it. It was one of those things where you're like, hey, we're vibing. Like, she thinks we're funny. Like, this could be good, right?
Yeah.
And then, let's see. Then pretty quickly
they
started the
sent the people down,
process.
and then we started it. We were already friends with the realtor, Narita, who did an amazing job.
She did a great job.
Silent clap
Shout
to
out
Narita. She's amazing. I'm sure we'll talk about her more. And next thing you know, we're filming the show.
Yep.
So
that was another thing, was we had to then be like, hey, Narita, like, this might sound crazy, but would you want to be on House Hunters with us? And she was like, sure. Like, she just was like so along for the ride. It was great.
Yeah. Wow. Just you saying that made me think of something from the early on in the process. But so next thing you know, we're filming our episode of House Hunter. Mm-hmm. So we film it. Of course, when you film something, they don't air it right away. So we were just sitting here at, waiting because we chose our house and. Like, oh, the tension's building. What is it gonna? Did we make the dumbest? Did we just make a huge mistake? Are we gonna be that couple that it looks like we're fighting all the time?
Yeah, and not really we're pretty active on social media, but we didn't we couldn't post oh, here's our new house. We bought a house.
Yeah,
right?
We don't want to spoil it too much, and so. So it was very interesting to see. I mean, that waiting period. Yeah. And as we got to the closer and closer to the episode date, which was last Friday, it was getting intense.
It was. We
were oscillating back and forth.
Your mom walked in and was like, "Are y'all nervous?" And we were like, "Yeah, are you not?" Because she is on there too.
Right.
So.
Yeah, we were going back and forth between, oh, this is going to be so awesome. Yeah. Hey, if it's horrible, life goes on.
I think we should talk about how our two different ways of processing, too.
Okay.
Jarrett is very much worst case. Like, he prepares himself for the absolute worst case.
Yeah.
So he's just it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. It's going to be embarrassing. It's going to be, we just need to prepare. And I'm like, let's maybe not go down that path right now. Let's just think best case scenario, right? Mm-hmm. It could be really good. It could be, we can just laugh about it. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
That's very typical of our processing.
So we invited our friends and family. Like I said, there'll be video clips of that, Lord willing, on our YouTube and our social media. And so then we watched the episode, which we'll talk about. Just a quick moment of silence for the app that has got us through. TikTok.
Bless.
TikTokisha's gone so soon. She didn't even make it to her teens, and she's
so
left.
Tragic. What are we gonna do now? What am I gonna do when I'm saying, "Oh, I'm going to bed"? And I can't lay there and scroll
TikTok.
Yeah.
I just thought about, I was like, oh my goodness. What, when you're just bored, it's just something to do. It's that's why I can say now that TikTok is really going to be gone after this weekend. I'll be like, oh, that's why we didn't go viral. They banned it right before.
Right, yeah.
But we still have, like I said, you can watch us on YouTube. You can watch us on Instagram, Facebook. We're on social media.
You're talking about the People's Rose.
Yeah, the People's Rose.
Okay, well, we should also talk about where you can watch the episode.
If you have yet to see the episode, I know it's on demand on some people's cable for free.
If you have cable, you have HDTV, it should be on demand.
And then
season 253, episode 10.
Yes, season 253, because there are a lot of episodes, and it's not in the order you might necessarily think. 253, episode 10. Our episode title is, as you saw probably in the description of this podcast, it's called A Home for Podcasters. And so we it was interesting because we also, we tell people that we podcast about reality TV, but that was another thing now everyone who's
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just we have a pretty big church community, right? And so word got around, and then so people watched it, and then they're like, "Wait, we didn't know you had a podcast."
Right, or even
because we didn't do a lot of like not marketing. What's the word? Promotion. You know, we kind of just did it for fun.
What, our podcast or House Hunters?
The podcast.
Because we like reality TV, we talk about it so much. It's something we'd be doing anyway. So, you know, the episode is airing. Immediately seeing your face on TV is crazy. It had been a while since we filmed, and we'd filmed so much we didn't remember what we said. When we saw the description was going to be, I'm looking for a nook for gossiping. People were already roasting me.
Listen, we should have known that was coming because when you said that, you said something along those lines in the interview, and she loved it.
Yeah.
And she was like, that had the whole executive team cracking up.
I don't think she said the whole
Yes, she did.
Executive team, but she said it had all of us. Yeah. You know what was cute part of the episode is they showed our little love story just to introduce us. I love seeing our wedding pictures and dating pictures on the screen.
That was fun.
We filmed the first part at my parents' house. So it was a little jarring to see my parents' house
yeah.
on the TV screen.
Well, the house you grew up in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you're right. I should have specified. But it was a real treat. I'm really thankful that our family members could participate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we were sick though the first day we were filming, or the day we filmed some of these parts.
When we were filming, I had a little bit of a cold, and I can hear it in my voice.
You know, I didn't even notice it, but you did point that out. It was funny. Our budget was a little lower. People make fun of house hunters. You know, I am an ant farmer, and my wife, is a I don't know.
Stay at home
and
homemaker.
We have a budget of $2 million. That was not our budget.
No,
so we were
not
joking.
At all.
They were going to save our episode for House Hunters Broke Edition.
Yeah. I think people appreciate that. I don't know. Y'all let us know, because I do know sometimes you wanna see like the big time, like rich and famous.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes you want to see realistic too. What?
Yes, I agree with everything you're saying, but I was just the Chiron, I think is what it's called, describing what I was looking for, said cozy dark spaces, nooks for gossip, and a big yard. It's a lot of things we have. Let's just admit, we've watched this episode quite a few times.
Oh yeah.
So but that's because you really don't notice some things. The first watch through, people were quoting the stuff to us that we just didn't even see or hear. So we watched it again, like, oh yeah, that did say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing I think was an interesting experience is we like home improvement or home TV shows, but I don't know if we're knowledgeable about the lingos. I thought there was a stretch when the pandemic hit, we saw just about every episode of Love It or Listed, so maybe then we would have been more knowledgeable, but because that wasn't the case, we didn't even really know how to describe what we wanted.
Yeah.
So
that was kind of tough.
Yeah, I liked your look when we were viewing the first house. Actually the whole episode you were looking good.
Listen, I tried really hard on my wardrobe. I won't even lie. I had a friend come over and help me, and we combed through all my stuff. I bought new stuff. I needed to be feeling and looking good.
Yeah, and you did. You looked very good. What was I about to say?
Now, I will say you did good with the glasses, because you have like 3 different pairs of glasses on
I purposely changed it up.
Like you were stylish with the glasses.
I did not want to be caught with the same pair on. I hope if someone noticed, if someone was paying attention, I wanted to be like, is this guy wearing new glasses every day? And yes, I am. Yes,
Okay,
I am.
but that's like, why didn't you didn't want to be caught with the same pair on? Most people wear the same pair of glasses every day.
Yeah, but I've changed. I was the kind of person that wore the same pair of glasses for like 6 years.
Yeah, we don't.
So
Let's not
I've
even get
changed.
into that.
You know, I had thought up and down, like I wasn't talking about nooks for gossip, and
Yeah.
then, and then on TV,
Yeah.
I'm over here whispering into a nook.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, it's
they loved when you did that, I'm sure. They were like, "Oh, we got it."
Yeah, in that first house, there was a lot of quotables. We were talking about. I think people have been hitting you up for saying you don't like boring white cabinets.
Yes.
Hit me saying, "Oh, I love a hallway." I've heard that a lot.
Yeah.
I love a hallway.
And you saying, "Oh, I need to come over here. What if I need to talk about so and so? Me come over here." And I'm like, you don't need to be talking about people like that.
Yeah. You know, they did touch a little bit on the long commitment. That was, I think, another part we were worried about with the show, how much they were going to go. Mm-hmm. Jared's not ready for a house. Mm-hmm. Brooke is dragging him into home ownership.
I was worried about that. I was worried that I was going to be like the pushy wife that was pushing you into buying a house.
No, we were. I think I was a little more reserved, but I think we were both ready, and they did show that pretty well.
Yeah.
It's just seeing. A lot of what's cool about the show is just seeing yourself on TV. I gotta admit. Yeah. We the episode aired, and supposedly our cable comes through in HD, but it's a give or take. So when we bought it on Apple TV, which is another place you can watch it, $3. Support Apple. It's a struggling business. If you hear weird noises, there's cats outside our yard. That's the one thing about this house that is not on the HGTV. Is every once in a while a cat will moan by the window. Anyways, you seeing yourself in HD can be a little daunting, but I think we look good.
Yeah, I do too.
I think we look good. And okay, so when you would do your little cutaways, I'm gonna call them diary rooms because that's what they're called in Big Brother. Yeah. But you're in the moments, whatever they're called. You also looked really, really good there.
Oh, thanks, babe. That's sweet.
The crew was telling you repeatedly how good you looked.
Okay.
And I know you look good. But then when I'm seeing what they were saying, looking through the camera, I'm like, okay, yeah, I agree. They had to comment on it, even though her husband was standing right there. And of course, we know that we chose House 1. And so watching it back, we know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. But I will say this, they did a good job of keeping the suspense.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of people told us they were thinking it was going to be House 3.
Right. And I was watching it, I was like, maybe we did pick House 3, but I mean, obviously we didn't. They also did, and the episode had like drone shots of Houston, which I thought were really cool. I wonder if they just have those on ready to go. Or if they do those anew every time they're in Houston. Because there's been a lot of Houston episodes out recently.
I'm sure they have them ready to go. I'm sure that's just like stock, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I haven't even said this, but to anyone, I was a little worried about how my driving would look on TV, where people were going to catch me running a red stop sign or something.
You were?
Just a little bit, because you never know how attentive people are. But I think we look good. The day we filmed at the second house was freezing.
It was freezing cold. Yeah, it was.
Well, we're Houstonians, so
yeah, to us it was.
Yeah, it was way colder than we like it to be.
Yeah.
I think this stretch of the episode at the second house I think that's my favorite stretch.
Really?
Only because I felt like
you were kind of being sassy about this.
Right, but I felt like this house tour is when I felt the loosest in front of the camera. Oh. It didn't feel like we're not actors, so it could feel a little awkward. You didn't ever felt awkward? You never felt awkward, because I could bring up moments in the shooting. I'm not going to get into too much behind the scenes where it was just like, this is kind of awkward.
I mean, maybe, yeah, but I don't know.
Okay. We got a natural right here. Yeah.
Well, actually, they did a good job of showing you being, because you were saying you liked how dark and cozy that house was, but you didn't. But I guess that was the only thing you liked, because you didn't like the stairs.
Yeah.
You didn't like. I'm like, oh, I like the chandelier. Do you like it? And you're just no. Which people also thought was funny. And I was like, that's like very realistic. That's very much him.
Right. Yeah, it was yeah, it was, I don't know, it was, they did a good job of highlighting the good things about each house, and maybe, uh, we did the house tour, so we saw way more of the house than they got to show, just that they didn't have time. But the way they highlighted the best parts of the house would made it a little more of a even
One thing they
field.
didn't really talk about in this second house was that there were like 9 different floors. Like every part of the house was a different type of floor.
Yeah, they rushed on it a little bit because of I think they kept in one of the comments of us going like, okay, this is the different flooring down here. That's which brings me to another point. Can I be honest? I think, I don't know, I was feeling myself today. There's some one-liners.
You like your fit?
I like my fit. I was like, that's a guy who's confident. That day, I don't know what it was.
Okay.
You know what else I think about? We are in the house we chose, but we tore houses that were up for sale. Presumably, someone got those houses.
I know.
So, what is it like for someone to be watching and go, huh?
I know, right?
They're touring the house I bought.
Right.
They didn't pick that one, and I'm in their house.
That would be wild.
Yeah, you had a lot of good looks. I liked your
I realized I wore a lot of brown. Yeah. I didn't realize I wore so much like light brown, but
it's not that bad. It's just
I mean it's just I like it. I didn't realize that I liked it and wore it so much though.
Yeah. Another thing about reality TV shows that I always wanted to experience. We talk about it sometimes. When we're watching reality TV, we can get so engrossed we can forget there's a production crew just on the perimeter of these people. Sure. So being on the show, I think we actually forgot, because we're just on a house tour. We forgot about the cameras a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But working with the people that filmed and produced and did the sound and assisted in the episode was so cool. I really liked
that was
the people we worked with. There was a bunch of different personalities. They were very experienced, obviously. They've done this. Nobody there who had never done an episode before except us. And I think they really helped us. Well, we helped them, but they made a really good episode with us, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, another thing for those who know Houston, I won't say too much about the locations because I think they did a good job of kind of giving you an idea in the context of the show. But that's another thing that's kind of hard if you're just watching and you don't know the city location wise. Can be kind of hard to do.
Yeah, for sure.
And it made me think about other episodes I've said where they'd be like, the location's interesting. You have no idea what that is unless you're in that city and you know where the house is at, right?
The distance wasn't bad on this one, but the location, the third house, yeah. But the location was like the opposite direction of like our families.
Right. It wasn't too far. Yeah, exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
So it just wasn't really that. I think that was throwing us off a bit.
Yeah. But
or I guess I would say is like a was a negative for us for that house.
Yeah. That's the thing about this show. It's 22 or 21 minutes. They don't have time to show you all the positives and all the negatives. But when you're looking at just the positives, it can almost be like, maybe we could have overlooked the power line in the backyard. You know what this third house is like?
I don't know. We would have had to like make sure that was absolutely taken care of before we moved in.
I think realistically, You're right, 100%. There's not. It wouldn't. Even, it would not have been a thing where we move in without that.
No,
being
I don't
taken.
even know how that happened. Like,
Yeah.
how did that happen while someone was still living there? Like, I just
We don't
don't
know.
even. I don't know.
This house to me is like, and I don't. We don't do this now, but everyone has this experience when you have an ex. You know, you're back on the You're on the market, and you only think about the good stuff that happened with an ex when you're lonely or you're looking. You're like, you don't think how they weren't right for you, but you just think back to like, oh, that was a good time. That's what I think about with this third house. Sometimes I'm looking at this third house and like, wow, we could have lived a life in that house. But no, because as they showed in the show, it was right next to a commercial area. I don't think we were looking for that either.
I don't think so either.
I know
the cabinets were a mess. They show it in both bathrooms, but you can really tell in the like second bath, the cabinets were like falling off.
Yeah, they showed it on the show, but I actually did like that enclosed shower.
Of course you did.
I don't mind dark and cozy spaces. Like it says in the show. And I actually like these little windowsill nooks, I guess.
The reason we're talking, I don't know if do they know we're watching it right now as we're talking about it? Did we say
No,
that?
we didn't really explain that.
Okay, well, that's why he said I like those, because we're watching that. We're looking at it right now.
I guess people have been listening along like, okay, interesting. But we have it playing on in the background just so we don't miss any of the comments from the show. Mm-hmm. But again, this is maybe our 7 millionth time watching it.
This is only our third time. True. Unless you were watching it alone without me.
I watch it in my dreams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like through osmosis. But it was, we got with these three houses, were really fun to tour. It was interesting I think we learned a lot about our taste in houses, just discussing all the different types of variables in these houses. And I mean, of course, if you've seen the episode, the house we pick. I guess we should have been clear. If you hadn't seen this episode, we were going to spoil.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but when we picked house one, I think it had the best of everything we were looking for.
Yeah.
It was really fun to see like our son.
Yes, I love that.
At this age, because kids at that age, he's a toddler, they grow so fast.
Yeah.
That just a few moments of time, you see how much they change. So to have this moment encapsulated so pristinely, by a professional camera team,
right,
is worth it enough.
Right.
If they said, "Hey, the episode didn't air, but we'll send you footage of you and your family walking around," it would have been worth it. Mm-hmm. Because of course, when they show the house we picked and we see all of our family celebrating JB's birthday party, man, this is good stuff.
It is. I'm so glad that that's what we did. Like, that we were able to have his birthday party.
Right.
Because it just was so fun and sweet and such a sweet memory.
Yeah.
And then when he had his at the end, he has his own little thing where he is just like kind of jabbering.
Yes.
And it's so cute. I love it. I mean, obviously they know what they're doing.
Right.
That they picked that, but.
And it's I say this about our son. It is very true. Like, that's kind of still who he is. Just going off on and blah, 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 and we're just like, yeah, good.
Yeah.
And so seeing that, this is also the very short period of time, because as we announced on our last podcast, we are pregnant with our baby daughter. Mm-hmm. Lord willing, she'll be here in less than a couple months. Mm-hmm. And so this will be it'll be a memory of the time or before her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. She'll be like, where was I? But not here yet. But another thing too, I have to give a shout out to my sister, because Foster Mom Farmhouse on Instagram, look her up. She came out, she drove 5 hours. She was 5 hours from me. and helped me get the house ready.
Yeah.
Like, I would not. She did the whole accent wall for me. We
Right.
did run out of wallpaper, so we only did half the wall. But she did that for me. She cleaned. She put things in place. She styled, like, the mantle. She did so much. We wouldn't. It wouldn't have looked as good without her coming, for sure.
Yeah.
So shout out, sis. Thanks.
Yes. Shout out to your sis. She did a great job with helping. Shout out to my family. Thanks for my parents. Like, thanks for joining the filming process. Shout out to your parents for coming and being on TV. And shout out to the cameraman who told me to wear my glasses like this. Go to Instagram or YouTube to see what I'm doing. Yeah, I have my glasses. I look like I'm losing my mind. But there was glare because of the lighting in the room. And he said no one would see on the show. He was filming it in a way no one would notice. People noticed.
Well, they wouldn't have noticed except for you turned your head, and you could see it when you turned your head.
Yeah, I think you could see it before you turned your head, but it was that to me. He had to. I guess they wanted to glare out of my eye.
You had been anxiously anticipating that since the moment that happened.
Because I knew it would look like that, and I thought. People, the people that noticed it, because I don't think everyone noticed it, but the people that did were like, yeah, I wondered why you were doing that.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, but no one was just like, he's crazy. But in your head, you're like, this is going to be the most embarrassing moment of my life.
Yeah.
When really it's just me looking silly with my glasses for a brief moment. But it was a good episode. It was a good filming experience.
Yeah.
And now we get to anytime someone brings up House Hunters or HGTV, be like, we've been on HGTV. Oh, you watch Hulu? Well, Lord willing, it'll be on Hulu eventually. But yeah, we've been on Hulu. We've been on your cable box. Oh, HBO Max? Yeah, I had an episode on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and honestly, like I said last time, we are reality TV podcasters and participants now. We know what it's like to suit up and actually go film an episode.
That being said, what's our next reality venture?
Well, that's a good segue. We are going to talk about another TV show called Traitors. We're going to apply for Traitors. They have people that from all different shows, from all levels of fame. They've had people who are just randoms.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, hey, no, put me on the show.
Listen.
Put you on the show. We're both going to apply.
I think Traitors, I don't want to go on. You can go on. But because I think Traitors is so hard. If you're a faithful, you are like constantly worried that you're going to die.
I would never make it as a traitor. We play this game.
As a traitor?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about the show in a second, but first we're going to do Brooks Buzz. But we play this game where you have to pretend to be the odd man out on like...
Oh,
and I'm horrible at that. We played 2 games like that. It was a couple games. Me and my family, we play like that.
Chameleon,
and then there's one on Jackbox where you had to pretend to know what the... And I'm just horrible at it.
Yeah.
Because it's harder than you think.
Yeah.
Now, and you have to lie as a traitor. You don't really have. Well, you have to. If someone asks you, are you a traitor? You have to say no, unless you want to lose. I would love to be a faithful though, because I love accusing people. I love observing.
You also love to build a case. You love to build a case. Oh my gosh!
The thought of sitting at a round table and being like, I've been watching you.
Yeah.
And this is why. And then convincing everyone.
Yep.
We're going to talk about the episodes. But I was like, oh, I'd love to do this. But not all. This is what I think being on House Hunters showed me. Outside of how awesome it was. But I'm just like a lesson. Just apply.
Exactly, right?
Because
if you want to just put yourself out there,
we would have never thought we would be on HGTV buying a house.
No.
With our friends and family.
Right.
That's not something in a million years we would have guessed. And now that we've done it, we're like, we did that.
Right.
So it's that. Do I expect to get on any other reality TV show ever again? Realistically, probably no. But I never expected to be on House Hunters.
Fair.
Now I know that it's just an application and somebody liking you away.
True.
I'm doing it.
True.
Why not? I'm doing it every year. At least once a year, I'm going to apply to be on some reality TV show. It's going to be a Jared Johnson, like mantra. Not mantra, but
a
way of life. Goal.
Yeah.
A yearly goal.
A
Just
yearly
apply.
goal. Yeah.
At least one, if not more.
I love it.
Before we circle back to Traitors, we got to get our first Brooks buzz of 2025.
Well, I thought I had a lot, but then I was going through and looking. But the biggest one is Matt James and Rachel Kirkconnell. Was that how you say her last name? Breaking up. And, there's a lot of discord about it.
So we're going to dedicate this Brooks buzz to Matt and Rachel?
Sure.
Okay, let's do it.
So, their relationship
from The Bachelor. Just to clarify,
yes.
Matt was a former Bachelor. He was the first Black Bachelor, maybe about 3 years ago.
I think 4.
And Rachel was his final choice. They had a the best way to describe it is misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Not even worth rehashing it if you don't know. Mm-hmm. Him being black, her being white. But then they stuck it out and decided to date / be engaged. Well, actually, no, they weren't engaged.
They were dating.
You're right, and it's been 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like they ended the show and they weren't dating, but then fairly soon after they were dating, but they didn't make a big deal about it. I just didn't know if they really liked each other. I think that's kind of where I was at. I was like, do y'all really like each other or not? And then, so they're very much like the influencer type, right? So they know PR, they know all of that. But the way that they did not do like a joint statement that a lot of people do. For the breakup, sorry. Matt posted he posted like a prayer for them, which that's sweet, but then there was no statement from her except somebody commented, like a few days before they had pictures together in London. They were on a trip together, and then someone had posted, oh, Rachel seems really blindsided by this. Someone had commented that on a post she put up of birthday pictures for him, and she liked the post. So I don't know. I guess he decided to end it, and she was blindsided, is what it sounds like. But it also sounds like there was no. So people are also saying like, I lost my train of thought.
I'll jump in.
Okay.
I have some comments about it, but so they've been dating for 5 years without a formal proposal.
Yes,
and
I think she
people in the past
she did want to get married.
Have said, yes, I do like him. I want to get married, but we're on his timeline for marriage.
Yes, that's
now. I don't want to go into specifics, but I actually feel like this is very similar to someone I know in my personal life who also dated a girl. It's a very similar situation.
Thanks.
For a long time, they went on a trip to Europe. The girl, whether it was made or not, you've dated someone that's long, your lives are set up, there's really nothing left to look for except starting that chapter of life. Like any sane person was, maybe even said, I'm expecting the proposal or an engagement. Yeah. And when he didn't, it was over.
That's what people's theory is that when they were in London together, she thought, oh, we're taking a big trip, he's gonna propose. He didn't propose. She ended it, or maybe he ended it. Well, yeah, because she was blindsided.
Well, yeah. See, we know the specifics. I'm sure eventually.
Yeah.
I hate that this is going to happen. Him or her are going to tell what happened.
Yeah.
Or one's going to say something, and someone's like, "Well, let me tell you what really happened." Yeah. So and so. But if I had to guess, this would happen. It was like becoming clear he was not going to propose, and she's fed up with it because she's a woman who respects herself. Enough to not put up with that. And it turned into a fight, and he was like, "So are you gonna be done over this? Because I didn't propose this one time." And she wanting him to say, if she said no, he'll be like, well, then let's get married, is what people think. If I had to guess, it's like, yeah, we're going to be done. If you haven't made your decision up by now, we're done. And left, however that is, but not broke up with him, was like, yeah, it's put up or shut up time. And he being a horrible, I don't want to say horrible, being Matt James was like, fine, I'll post it right now.
Oh my gosh.
And tagged her in it.
You think?
I 100% think.
Oh my gosh, that's so childish.
And that's the way a blindside could happen if she's like, I'm putting my foot down, but wanting him to man up and him being like, fine, bye. Now, no, I want to hear Brooke's Buzz comments, and I'll give my little piece of it. What? I have Matt James was the first Black Bachelor. We love the Bachelor franchise. That was a tumultuous season. He was. I wanted so desperately for him to be, and he's not a bad guy, but he is a guy who's clearly not up for. I mean, he dated a girl for 5 years without knowing if he wanted to marry her, or maybe he didn't. He just didn't care. Whatever it was, we got those vibes pretty early on, and he blamed it on his dad, which was a red flag. And whether that's true or not, I think it's like a red flag. And so then the race stuff happened. Yeah. Not just with him, but with Chris Harrison. Remember Chris? Yeah. That stuff got Chris Harrison removed from the show. Yeah. That's also was kind of during the time leading up to all the racial, I don't even know what this unrest. Yeah. I think it's much more than that, but just for the sake of it, in America, right? And then those two are like, it's happening, and they're like wanting to stick it out. That was a moment in my personal reality watching life where I had to tune out. I used, as much as I was in the Big Brother or these other shows, I was on The Bachelor on Reddit and Twitter, getting weekly updates of Rachel and Matt James, Tyler Cameron and Hannah Brown. I literally felt addicted. My mood would be changed. Oh my god! I'm not even joking. I know. And I had to stop. And I disconnected a lot from the franchise. And now that Grant has come back, I felt and just in general, I felt like, okay, let me know a little bit more about the show. And right when I'm like, before season starts and I'm tuning back in, they jump back in with this drama again. And that's why it's just like, really? I don't think he was ever. I think she's a great girl. I think she learned from her mistakes. I think she really liked him and was ready for him. If you can date a woman for 5 years and not know, you know. Sure. And
I mean, I think, I don't want to be too critical of that because I think circumstances, some people do need to wait, however long. But I do agree, like, you at least need to know, like, yes, that's what I want, that's where we're headed, and this is what needs to happen before we get there.
Yeah. And more, and he's just, So
so this brings me to another breakup. Yeah, talk about it. But you don't know these Craig are Bravo people, but Craig and Paige. Yeah. Which I was not surprised. They were talking all the time. I mean, Craig would say all the time how if she didn't move to North Carolina, it wasn't going to work. But he would also say, like, he wanted to marry her. And she just kind of always seemed a little bit, like, just in it for the fun. So she didn't seem like she wanted to leave New York. So it just didn't seem like it was going to work. Point blank, period.
They were a popular couple that I felt like I had heard tangentially just through reality TV circles that I had already thought had broken up at some point.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So I saw that people were like, oh my gosh, poor Craig. And I was like, what? The guy from
I don't know what's wrong with the Southern Charm men, but they're not. Let me watch what I say, but they're not like long-term committal. They're not like the marriage type guys. I guess I'll say that.
Which I think is a lot of these reality TV. As a person who's been on reality TV and seen behind the curtain, I think
is that you? You're not the marriage type guy?
No, I am, but I've hobnobbed with these,
Yeah.
Anyways, a lot of these dudes are just in it for the good feeling. I would bet anything. I have not watched Southern Charm. Craig could be a great dude. But you are not going to sit here and tell me that he doesn't love that a bunch of women on TikTok are like, oh, poor Craig, he's such a great guy. I just wish he would find the perfect girl. And he's got such a great dish. Yeah. And I bet you that he gets a lot of dates. Well, I'm not saying when he was with someone.
Yeah.
But I promise you he has no problem getting dates, and I promise you he's gonna enjoy himself.
Well, yeah, no, absolutely.
But I'm not saying that's wrong.
I would say of the guys, Craig is the one known to be in more long-term committed relationships. He's more of like the lover boy, like says he wants to get married, whereas the other guys don't really say that. So I can he'll be back dating soon.
And here's the real tea. Oh, my brother got us cups. We gotta
get them.
Yeah, I keep forgetting to set those up, but thank you, bro. We're gonna
because she said that in the episode too. He wants to spill the tea.
Oh my gosh,
the narrator said. I was like shocked to hear the narrator say that.
That's crazy.
So I think that's all I have for Brooke's Buzz.
Okay, well, that was a good Brooks Buzz. Thanks. Thank you for the buzz. If you are watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you are listening to us on our podcast, please subscribe on whatever platform you like and give us a good rating. We could use good ratings. It was a misunderstanding at the beginning of our podcasting careers that it's not our fault, but we got brigaded. It's a whole story of some very passionate fans that we, whatever. But if you like the show, please give us a high rating and spread the word. Okay, let's talk about, and don't betray us with your ratings, and let's talk about Traitors. Traitors is a show on Peacock. It is a show that's kind of like Mafia. I've never played it, but I've heard it's like that show, like Mafia. So if you know what Mafia is, it's kind of like that. But it's a competitive reality TV show where they bring on a bunch of former reality TV stars from all over, from Survivor to Big Brother,
more the villain type,
or just conniving, to Housewives, to the Drag Race shows, to just random royal people. They always have a royal or UK politician.
They always have like two people from the UK that are just because didn't the show start in the UK?
Yeah.
Okay.
To influencers, to in the future will be house hunters contestants. I think we could. I think we could talk
them into it too.
We could talk them into it.
I think we could too.
And it's just like that. There's people on the show. Think of it also kind of like The Mole inside in a certain way. There's people. There's a group of faithful. They are just normal people. Then there's traitors who are actively trying to kill off the faithful. So the way it works, faithful will vote out someone, hoping to get a traitor, and every night the traitors will kill someone.
And then at the end, it comes down to who's left, right?
Right. If there's a traitor left, they get all the money. If there's a faithful, if it's nothing but faithful left, they split the money. If you like that sounds interesting, you watch the show. It'll explain it further. If you know what's going on, you know what's up. This is a great season so far. What do you think?
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Let's see. Okay, but I, of course, was, and we're gonna spoil because the first 4 episodes are out. So we're gonna talk about them all. The first person out was Dorinda, and when I say I was disappointed, I literally was like, I don't even want to watch this anymore.
Right.
I was so happy to have her back on my screen.
Yeah.
I was so excited for her potential, but no, she was the first out. And, it kind of was her fault because she did kind of go off on someone, right? I can't remember.
Yeah, Ivor.
Yeah, and so, not the best gameplay, but they are gunning for the housewives.
Well, because the housewives on all of these shows, whether it be villains, whether it be traitors, whether it be the GOAT, they stick together. Yeah, there is a Bravo sorority of women. They all have participated. they're Andy's girls. You know what I mean? They got to
fair.
stick together. Another thing is it takes all of them a while to get in the competitive mode.
Yeah.
They're in, read people, spill the tea. That Housewives is a whole different zone than.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? So they just stick together, they click up, and you got to take them out because they're. Otherwise, it'll be Housewives at the end.
That's fair. Yeah. So we lost her into Ann Ion from Real Housewives of Dubai, who she's funny. I wish you got to see more of her because she's funny.
She seems very kind of airheaded, a little bit spacey.
A little bit, yeah. But she also just doesn't care. She's just like, I am who I am, and I don't care.
Yeah. Lost her, and then we've got a good crop of contestants. We've got another thing we're doing. We're rewatching old Big Brother episodes.
Yeah.
So we'll probably reference that old season of Big Brother because it's fresh in our mind. Mm-hmm. So we watched recently her original season. Brittany Haynes is on Traitors.
Yes,
but they're underusing her. They're not using her diary rooms. Like
I know, but she did have a good one in this.
A good
episode.
One, but Brittany Haynes
funny.
Could carry a show.
But
she should be narrating.
This cast is so big, and they have to fit so much into an episode.
And
they don't
so
have
many
that
big
many
personalities.
They don't have that much time.
For her case to win, her laying low right now and not being a big plot line is good for her.
I agree. So I also was listening to Juliet Littman.
Yeah.
And she had Poverty on.
Oh, yeah.
And Parvati was talking about strategy for Traitors because Juliet was like, it's so hard, I don't know. And Parvati was saying it's a good idea for a faithful, if they think that someone is a traitor, to befriend them.
Yeah.
But just like know that, and then the traitor won't want to get them out.
Right.
I was like, oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping Brittany kind of gets in with someone that's a traitor, and then, but I don't know. So so Danielle Reyes from Big Brother is also on, who you absolutely love.
All-time favorite.
I'm not super familiar with her, but I have seen her on some things.
Yeah.
Well, her and Brittany had a falling out on reindeer games.
Big Brother reindeer games.
Because Brittany sent her home, which was stupid.
And betrayed her,
Yeah. So, I wish that they would work together.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen, I don't think.
Yeah. Danielle is a traitor.
Yeah.
She's working with Carolyn. We don't watch Survivor like that.
See, that's another thing I'm kind of sad about because they have a lot of Survivor people on there.
Now, it helps that we watched the one all-star episode
we did.
season that had Rob. Well, I had watched some of Rob's original
we had seen
season.
Rob on Amazing Race, too.
Yeah. But Rob and Poverty and
Sandra, which she's not on this season.
And Tony.
Yeah.
And I think it even had Jeremy for a little bit.
I think Jeremy won, I thought.
No, not that. Not the All-Star, did he? Oh. I thought it was the...
Oh, was it? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
So, I thought it was one of the twin girls. Maybe I'm wrong.
So.
I know she was Final 3. Anyways, so we've seen them. That helps a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
But Carolyn, I can't even imagine her.
I don't know.
She is so spaced out and crazy.
I don't know her, but I think, again, this is from Juliet on the Ringer. Carolyn makes such a good traitor because nobody suspects her. And she does kind of act like she doesn't know what's going on ever.
Yeah, she's a good traitor. Now,
but I do feel bad for her because the other traitors aren't really listening to her or taking her viewpoint into account. They're kind of just running right over
which
her.
Which is great for her.
That's
because
true.
It's even harder to pin traitor kills on her because it wouldn't make sense for her.
That's true.
And nothing makes sense for her because what makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
And she always looks suspicious, so you never, if she reacts weird to something, you're like, well, that's just Carolyn.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually think she's in a great spot.
Mm-hmm.
The other traitors is Danielle, Carolyn. Boston Rob came in as a late addition to the traitors.
So dumb how they did that.
Yeah, and if you've seen the episode, you know what we're talking about. Wes, but Rob and Derek came in late.
Mm-hmm.
We know, just bring them on the show. Like what?
Right?
Yeah.
Like why are we even doing this?
There's a lot of twists on the season. There's way more shields.
Yes.
There's late additions.
Yes.
There's temptations. There's secret rooms.
We don't even know how many traitors there are.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
They announced somehow they changed the end of the game, but it didn't make sense to me. I wasn't really understanding what they said.
Either.
I heard what they
said. What they're
said.
saying is they're gonna reveal at the like reunion who won, maybe. I don't get it either.
But yeah, so, and then also the fourth traitor and the most person recently evicted, banished person, Bob the Drag Queen.
It's just shocking that it happened so soon. I mean, I feel like it's inevitable that the traitors turn on each other, but it happened so soon. But the second Bob the Drag Queen called out Rob.
Yeah, he said one of the people that were new. He said one of Rob, Wes, and Derek is a traitor.
Yeah,
at that moment,
it was over. It was over for Bob. It was over. And I don't blame Rob for being mad and gunning for him. I mean, he freaking rallied the troops
in a great way.
He went to every single person. The way he talks is so like scary, manipulative.
Yeah.
But in like a gameplay way.
Yeah.
That everyone was just like, okay, this is what we need to do. This is what we're doing.
Rob was in a tough spot in that Bob was coming for him.
Yeah.
So he needs to get him out. And at the round table, Rob was like, they're focusing too much on Nikki and Sierra. Mm-hmm. So I need to turn the tides. Mm-hmm. So he did what he did. But as the episode ended, and I was like, surely someone's thought of this. Mm-hmm. The only way you can be as sure as Rob was that someone was a traitor is if you've been in that turret with them, because you're a traitor too. Mm-hmm. So if you're really paying attention, which some were, or like, hold on, how are you so sure? The only thing he could have tried to do is motivate the other faithful who thought it was Bob.
Yeah.
Daniel Efron?
To Dylan.
Dylan Efron, who's doing a great job.
He's doing good. But I'm worried because Dylan was also leading the charge for Bob the Drag Queen. And I'm worried that it's going to go to his head. And he's going to start like being like, oh, I know they're a traitor when they're not.
Yeah, I hear you. But think about what Poverty just said.
Yeah,
he's really good friends with Boston Rob.
True. Now him and Boston Rob are going to be buddy. That's true. Yeah.
Let's talk about Bob the Drag Queen. Him and Danielle, I'm almost for Danielle's sake, I think it's impossible for her to make it to the end. She's too cooked. Mm-hmm.
She's doing a little
way too much.
She's talking about what a good actress she is, but I think she's overacting.
Right. Her and Bob were trying to run the house, and that was never going to work because I feel like
they could have. I feel like they could have been a good team. They just needed to tone it back a little bit.
Because the more and more you're out in front the whole time, and if you're wrong every time and you're always pushing, people are going to be like, well, let's vote for you because you're leading us wrong all the time.
Absolutely.
So that's a strategy that I don't think can ever work. But Bob also was not. He was like Carolyn would say something, and Danielle and Bob would be like, no, we're not doing that, and move on. And that's how you get set up to get betrayed, just like Bob the Drag Queen was.
And I think even in like the challenges, he was
so vocal,
acting very vocal, and almost acting like he was almost acting like he was safe.
Yes.
Right.
Now,
because he was,
right. But exactly. And you wouldn't act like that if you're really scared of being killed. He was really convincing to the people who was really convincing to, or the non-game players. Yeah. The housewives are like, I could never vote for him. He's not a he's not a traitor.
Why were they so certain that he wasn't a traitor? Because they just trusted him?
Right, because they thought he was so earnest and being so. But the people who are gaming were like, wait a minute. So it was not. And Danielle was getting dragged into that. Danielle, excuse me. I think she needs to I hope this is a wake up call for her to take a step back. Let's also talk about Danielle almost ruining it for the Traitors
Oh my god!
by talking too loud when they walked out of the secret room, and Gabby Wendy, I'm not even. It's weird because I started off a Gabby fan on her season, then I wasn't as much a fan on her season of The Bachelorette. That was a horrible season, and then
they just did her wrong by making her and Rachel do it together. I feel like, and there were good moments. Like remember when she told that one guy off.
But that was on her Bachelorette season.
Oh, you're right.
That's what I'm saying.
My bad.
But I think she's very smart and very insightful. But I just don't know if she cares.
I don't know because, well, yes, I think. Okay, well, wait. Let me take it back. I would agree, but there's some sense of like maybe not caring. Like I'm just here for a good time. Yeah. Because she did. Because she heard Danielle. And she was like, oh, that's sus. And so then she went and told, and then they're like, okay, let's confront Danielle. And then Danielle, gave some sort of thing. And Gabby was like, oh, I was wrong. I was totally wrong. Yeah. And I'm just like, Gabby, no. And then she said, okay, so the Bambis, they have a little group. Her, Chriselle, and Nikki. And she was like, I really don't care if any of them are traitors because I don't want them to leave yet, and I'm just having fun with them. Exactly. And I'm just like, Gabby, come on.
And that's the mode, that she needs to take a step out of. Yeah. They've been on reality TV. Let's just enjoy each other's company mode. But I think if she was at game mode, she could do just like Poverty, just like it is. Now, this is what I want to talk about as well. A thing that she's talked about, and this could be, I might not even put this on the podcast, only because I want to make sure I say this right in the way I frame it. I don't want it to sound differently. She has equated hyper competitiveness with the masculinity of the males. A lot of the men in the challenges have been like worried about saving themselves, and she has made it a men and women thing. In the real world, that's very much true, but can be very much true. Yeah. And I'm sure from her experience, that's how she's seen things. But this is a reality TV competitive game show. The women in there can be just as competitive. Yeah. And in their way. I'm thinking Poverty. I'm thinking Janelle. I'm thinking Rachel. Absolutely. I'm thinking Sandra. I'm thinking Danielle. I'm thinking Brittany. You know what I mean? So she is like disengaging from it a little bit. Like, oh, you boys are just so caught up in everyone's trying to win the game. So if she could access her competitive femininity, however she wants to frame it, and get in the headspace of, oh no, I want to beat these people. I do think she'll be good, but she has to think.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But I mean, she's entertaining. She's funny. Yeah. And so that's that's good.
And to be honest, she truly just might not care. Some people just are like, oh well. Yeah. Absolutely. I was a faithful. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I saw. She's been on my TikTok a lot, and I saw one of her videos, and someone commented, "This is Jennifer Coolidge in her younger years." Truly. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes,
big time." So yeah, there's a good cast of characters. I like the cast. I feel like there's good conniving. I think that people are doing well. I think Brooke, I can tell, is losing steam.
I'm so sorry.
She is with child, and so she needs to get all the rest she can get. I'm also
just like uncomfortable. Like sitting for too long, I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, I didn't really get a good look at my camera, so either. I could be on YouTube.
I think I'm not looking my best
like this. You know what I'm saying? This is our since this is our after which I don't even know. It's not even recording anymore. So we'll just it's okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely not as fresh faced and outfit primed as I was for House Hunters.
Hey, but you're always beautiful.
Thanks, babe.
Okay, so thank you for listening, guys. We're gonna cut it here. We are going to be talking about The Bachelor. We're gonna be talking about Traitors. You know what? I say that, but we're gonna talk about it at the pace that we can keep up with a newborn and a toddler.
We're about to have a newborn here.
Let's just go ahead and set realistic expectations.
Oh wow.
We are, to the best of our ability, we're going to try to find times, but the episodes are likely going to be shorter and far further between. If we're just being honest. But this is something we plan to do. Yeah. We hope you enjoying the ride. to make sure you get updates about when our episodes come out, follow us on social media at The People's Rose. And we're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. For the next 24 hours, we're on TikTok. Who knows when it's going to end or when the ban is going to take place. But anyways, just follow us at The People's Rose. And search for us. Watch our House Hunter episode 500 times. Let it play on the background so HDTV can want us to become TV stars. And we're just really thankful for people who take time to listen. If you're listening this far, we thank you. And we pray that you continue to listen. And then we pray you have a blessed life until you hear from us again. Brooke, you got anything else?
No.
Okay. Well, we will see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.